As for shame, if there's shame on anybody, shame on the California State Bar.
What's the idea?
For not having sanctions against attorney conduct like this. Shame on the California State Legislature for not
Got here as fast as I could. What did I miss?
Therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
I have directed that the following steps be taken. First, it shall be the policy of this nation to regard any nuclear attack as an attack by the Soviet Union on the United States, requiring a full retaliatory response.
Yesterday, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The United States was at peace with that nation. I ask that the Congress declare that since the unprovoked and dastardly attack, a state of war has existed.
Good morning. As acting mediator, I am here to confirm that our legal team has in fact removed Antoinette Joan Johnson from her biological father's will, effective at noon today. Today's action is a direct response to Antoinette for siding with her mother on the gratuitously vicious way that Mom and her attorney handled the divorce. Today's action is also intended to be society's $18.6 million caution flag for couples who may be tempted to stray away from a friendly divorce in favor of a hostile one. Today's lesson, taught to Mom and her attorney, is that while it's nice to be important, it's more important to be nice. The $18.6 million tuition paid to teach this lesson was paid by Antoinette herself. We are also confirming that there will absolutely be no discussion of even partially restoring Antoinette to the will until Mom and her divorce attorney make the required refunds with interest and meet the following demands. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. This is so embarrassing. You've heard about the correct attorney, correct circumstances, but not the correct client scheduled for this particular news conference. The advisors to this client we will now discuss feel
there must be an alternative to bombing, an alternative to war.
So let's take this from the top, shall we? As acting mediator in this case, I will now clarify the last will and testament. With an abundance of caution in mind, it was at my most urgent recommendation that Junior was removed from his biological father's will as a protection against the
State of war
that
has existed
since 1992, thanks to Dano, Mom's divorce attorney. To all concerned parties, it must be made clear that today's decision was made based on information that we have and not information that you and only you would have. Given today's legal environment and current family dynamic,
are only bad options. It's about finding the best one.
For updating this particular will, the idea of removing Junior
is the best bad idea we have, sir. By far.
I can assure you that was the most moderate response we could devise.
Given the predicted and understandable reaction to the new low in the family dynamic and the new high in the price paid for the attorney's tactics, explaining today's action through a mediator,
the best bad idea we have, sir. By far.
If there is anything we're missing here, now would be a good time to speak or write, because
our goal is not the victory of might, but the vindication of right.
Ever since my client
was suddenly and deliberately attacked
in family court, an apparent double standard was revealed. The standard that supports Mom and opposes Dad was one of the many alarms that signaled the need for today's protective measure. Therefore, Junior was removed from the will effective at the most recent update. This to ensure that what influenced the double standard
shall never again endanger us.
For a better alternative,
I ask for your help and God's.
So your question is, do we really believe that Junior would do terrible things? The collective gut feeling says no. We are also mindful that this is the same gut that accepted
false statements and expressions of hope for continued peace.
From Dano's client, that we would not find ourselves in the situation that we ended up finding ourselves in today. Dano's client has demonstrated time and time again that while trusting is desirable, getting it in writing is absolutely necessary. In other words, there's a long list of things that Junior can't do because Dano's client has already done them. We are frequently asked, how long ago did this happen? When is he going to let it go?
Can't you forgive and forget?
Can you rephrase that, please?
Can't you forgive and forget?
Forgiveness is the easy part. Forgiveness is even easier when you realized how much Dano saved my client on the community property payout by insisting that his client go after everything she was legally entitled to. My client bought some pretty nice vacations with that 20% reduction in the community property payout to his client. Furthermore, Dano's tactics triggered sides to be taken, things to be said, and ground that continues to be stood. Had Dano not done this, we would never have known about the apparent double standard and the need to remove his client's son from the will today. In terms of forgetting,
it will be recorded
that Dano won the war in the courtroom in a way that forced his client to lose the peace in the living room. His
dastardly attack
was overtly approved by his client, so while forgiving is easy, forgetting is not wise, since it appears that Junior has taken her side, a side that
has deliberately sought to deceive
my client
by false statements.
As for your second question, our analysts believe that she and her attorney would never consider anything remotely close to what you suggest, regardless of the losses and who it is that ends up bearing those losses. As for shame, if there's shame on anybody, shame on the California State Bar.
What's the idea?
For not having sanctions against attorney conduct like this. Shame on the California State Legislature for not abolishing state-sanctioned methods of theft, such as court-ordered alimony and so-called community property settlements. The preceding video was a true story whose ending has yet to be written. It serves as a reminder that while there are many undeniable truths, consider these. The aggressor always sets the ground rules. Never willfully make an enemy. You never know when you're going to need him for a friend. While it's nice to be important, it's more important to be nice. As for the disclaimers, while in reality there was no multi-million-dollar caution flag, the client's children have, so far, lost $250 in the living room for every dollar the client gained in the courtroom thanks to a miscalculation of ego by her attorney. Finally, randomly selected names and images were used to protect the identity of someone's anonymous neighbor, almost through the entire presentation.